Let's listen to Jane Chikaitis and Mark DeVincentis reminisce about the building of our new addition. They are chairpersons, co-chairpersons of the building committee.
So what kind of memories do you have about why we even attempted to build something like this after decades of the church being a certain size, a size we'd gotten used to?
You know, what I remember is that over and over through the years, hearing stories of how kind of the starts and stops of a potential expansion. And from the very beginning, from 1955, when this church was first built, there was drawings that showed an eventual expansion. And you know, it happened. I went to a meeting where they were talking about it, but really nobody was kind of putting themselves forward as, yes, I'll take control, take charge, let's move this forward. And God spoke to my heart. I had a lot of administrative background with doing things, running projects, and I just felt that God called me to do it. So I went to our pastor Ann and said, if you need somebody to take a lead, I'll do that. And you came on with me, and we had a tremendous volunteer committee who were
The participation
so
of
committed.
church members, not every person, but every group was asked for, every member to submit their thoughts about what they thought should be in this new edition. And distilling all that, I remember reams and reams of paper, ideas, all good. Well, all good, let's say all good. And we had to get it down to what can really be built into this space. And of course, then that turned into budget, and then maybe, can we afford to do this? How much can we afford to do? We had meeting after meeting about how to get out of that situation where we had this crowd of people trying to get out of one service into another service in a little hallway. It was a real need that we were addressing.
But we had a team of passionate, enthusiastic believers who believed that God was calling us to do this. And we had this motto. We just kept saying, okay, we'll just take the next step and see what happens. And if this is God's will, he'll keep moving us forward. And we just kept taking one step and then the next step. And next thing we knew, we were getting an architect.
I think the Jordan River came in.
The Jordan River.
Putting
our foot in the Jordan River,
and,
yes.
And we had to convince people that we were right, because we thought this is something that God wanted
We
to
believed
build
it was a God
right
plan,
here on this
absolutely.
site.
Right.
And bankers, they don't understand that.
No,
Quite,
absolutely. When so we developed a plan, and then we brought in the consultant to help us make how do we do the financing? And they said the plan's too big. And yet, when we tried to scale back, we had passionate people that said, we have to have that gym, Ken Sisson. We can't build a church if we can't bring the youth in. So we have to have that gym. And we have to have a large narthex. There was nothing we felt we could say, take it out. And so we just kept moving forward saying, well, if God wants this, he's going to make it happen. And miracle after miracle. When the expert said, I remember being in my office one day and getting a call from the head of the consultant finance company that said, this project is too big. It's too much for your church. And so I came back to the committee. We came back. We had a church meeting. All church meeting, and everybody said, we can do this. We're moving forward.
We had a lot of church meetings and votes, and every step of the way, I believe, people were kept up to date. They knew what was going on. They were abreast of things. They felt like their opinion still mattered.
Absolutely.
They were there. The votes all went positively until we got it approved, and we were doing it.
And we were doing it. We had a wonderful architect who had a wonderful vision for us.
Bureau Architecture did a great job.
And yet we did multiple plans. We would get a draft of plans, and then we'd have meeting after meeting with every group in the church and said, what are we missing? What do you want? If you had one thing that you had to have, what would it be? And we did those, and we tried to get everybody's best thing in it. And I think through that we got the best all over projects, so.
Yeah, I think the architects think they've got the best idea.
Right.
When they first draw it up,
Right.
they spent a lot of time.
Right.
And they're professionals. But then people look at it from the church and say, oh, no, that's not what we meant. That's not really what we want. Can you do this?
Right.
And I think there are some things here that people, not me personally, but others would say, yeah, I really pushed for
Right.
that storage room over there, or
and-
that
right.
ramp over there, or that space
Right.
over
and
here
everybody
adjoining.
saw what it was. And do you remember when we had our first campaign and they said, there's no way you're going to raise, and I don't even remember what the amount was. We not only raised that, it was like 3 times that.
I forget those
That
early
was
numbers.
it was
Yeah.
amazing, and they said, "Well, you guys,
The
you were-
bond-
that's
the bond
right.
funding,
You were
yeah.
right, absolutely." And then when we went to build, we needed to keep our costs down, and the weather was the warmest winter
We
we
have
had
the weather, the winter that wasn't.
that wasn't, and you happened to be between positions, so you could do the site management of it, and everything just came together. Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
I don't know if I thought of that at the time.
No.
That was all just coming together, but,
Right, right.
but as it turned out, I was available
Right.
to help out.
So God had his hand in it. We just, again, put our foot in the Jordan and see what happens. And the waters just kept parting for us. And it was done. It
And
happened.
It happened, and here we are.
Here we are.